What is happening, budget builders, and welcome back to the channel. Well, if you can't tell behind us, we have BMW number 2 from our Scrapyard rescue.
How's it going? I'm Michael and this is Budget Builds. My dad and I bring rusty, crusty old cars back to life.
A 1982 E21 BMW 320i. It's got the M10 4-cylinder and it's backed by a 5-speed. Now this car has been sitting for just about the same amount as the other one, right around 20 years. And we did a full will it run video on this car. We got it driving and everything. And as I was wrapping it up, our GoPro decided it didn't like us anymore and it ate all of that footage. If you guys would like to see a will it run on one of these, we already did the red car. I'll put a link to it here. Go check it out. The only thing that we had to do different with this car is I did have to pull the sending unit out of the fuel tank, replace that intake fuel pump. We also had to put a clutch slave cylinder in this car, bleed that system up, and then the shifter was all messed up. We had to drop that up, had to weld in some washer where a drive shaft had come loose and actually broke that off at some point of time. It was missing a lot of gears, but it was just because it was not going into them. I really wish I could bring y'all that episode, but it's lost. So we've got a lot more still to do on this car, and the first thing I want to start with is we're going to do a full detail. Now this is an absolutely 100% rust-free car, but you will actually see otherwise all up underneath, all around. Obviously this thing is nasty. It has not been cleaned in a long time, but this is a very, very rust-free car. Pretty nasty interior. I've got the back seat out still there. This is a higher mileage car, 226,000 miles, but it runs and drives like a top. First thing I want to start with here is the engine bay. I want to get this thing completely detailed up, completely clean. I'm going to pull this seal off. Yeah. I'm going to drag the air hose out here. I want to get all of this crud blasted out of here, and then we can start degreasing this engine and getting it shined up. Now I do want to get all of this blasted out and cleaned off in that engine bay first, because I know we're going to be blowing grease and grime all over this car, and then we'll wash it from the outside. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is go ahead and start knocking some of this grease and crud out of here. And what I'm using, some good old Purple Power degreaser, and I've just got it in this old bottle. So I'm going to go ahead, we'll soak everything down. We'll give it a few minutes to sit here and soak. Let's just soak everything down. Obviously, just like with water, you want to be careful around some of your electrical bits. And then when we're done, any kind of overspray that we see, we want to, on the outside of the car especially, we want to get washed off. Now the next product that I'm going to go ahead and use on there is this aluminum brightener. Now this will continue to clean the grease and dirt and grime off of there, but it will also give it a nice shine when we're all done. Now with this, it's more of a finishing. This is what we use to clean pontoons and really give them that nice bright shine, and it keeps them from getting all crusty and crispy like you will with just a normal degreaser. So let's go ahead and soak it all down. And obviously I'm out here, it's windy today, so I'm not breathing a bunch of this stuff in, but you do want to be careful, especially with the hood up like it is on this car, breathing all that stuff in. You can't tell me that's not just a completely different engine bay. Now obviously it's not 100% grime free, but wow, it's a whole different motor. Hey y'all, I'd just like to take a quick minute to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, Maze. Now you've seen them around, you've seen them before on this channel. They're a really cool organization that do really cool giveaways that go towards really important causes. Now the one that they'd like for me to talk to you about today is a 2021 Ford F-150 4x4 and Airstream Caravelle 20FB camper. Now obviously this old Ford will get the job done. It does great towing, but it does not hold up to that 2021 Ford F-150 with the V6 twin turbo boasting 400 horsepower and 510 foot-pounds of torque. That truck has great hauling power, gets good fuel economy while doing it, and has a very nice, comfortable, luxurious interior. And let's forget about roughing it while camping in your new home away from home. If you all know campers, you know Airstreams with their classic and luxurious design. It has all the amenities including memory foam mattresses, a spacious, luxurious kitchen, and leather interior perfect for children and pets. And let's not forget that your donations are going to help the Independence Fund strive to bridge the gap of unmet needs for veterans and their caregivers. Be sure to go down the link below to get entered into a chance to win these really cool prizes and support a great cause. Alright, now that we have an engine bay baseline, we've got it pretty clean. Obviously there's still a little bit more work to do in there. It's time to start on the outside. Now, I don't have one of those fancy spray guns or anything. We're gonna try something out. First thing I wanna do is obviously get some soap on there to try to lift everything up, get some suds to try to lift all this trash off of it before we wash it into the car at all. So I've got some Dawn. Obviously this is budget build, right? I think I saw this on a TikTok. Oh boy. Is this gonna work? Probably not. It's worth a try though, right? Who needs those fancy things? Look at this. Now before we go too much farther on the outside of the car, another good use for the aluminum brightener is going to be these wheels. These are aluminum wheels. They're the Alpina style. I think they're really attractive on this car. It's one of the best looking factory wheels I feel like for these cars. And so again, we've got a lot of brake dust. We have some mud that is actually soaked into there. We're gonna soak it down, let it sit. We'll probably do that a few times and see how it cleans up. And I want to do that just because some of that spray is going to get on the car and stuff. We want to be able to wash that back off. We don't want to be working it into the paint or anything when it comes time to start cutting and compounding this car. And there you have it, our first initial cleanup came out really good. Now one thing to remember with that aluminum brightener is it will eat through paints and clear coats. So if you have a clear coated set of wheels, even if this one was clear coated, I don't think there's any clear coat left. There's obviously some paint in the center, but it just cleans all that off for the most part. Still a little bit more work to do, but extremely happy with the outcome for not doing any kind of scrub or anything, just letting the product do the work. And there you have it. Now they are not perfect. They obviously need probably a little bit more touch-up, cleanup. But man, they're so much better. It's gonna make a huge difference in the way this car looks. Now it's time to start cleaning this thing. Now obviously, this car is nasty. It has years and years of gunk. It's grimy, it's gross. I'm just gonna take some soap. I don't wanna blast this car off. The paint's already so thin on it that I know it'll just continue just to blast all the paint away on this car. So I'm just gonna use a scratch-free rag, and we'll go through with just some car wash, and let's start cleaning this thing up. I think it'll be pretty incredible, just an initial wash down, how much difference this car's gonna look, and I cannot wait to start compounding it. I kind of wish we still had that little red Jetta, because this is one of those colors that would look really good up next to that car. Whew, out here in the hot sun, I gotta keep it rinsed. All right, with the car about as clean as it's gonna get, it's time to go ahead and start cutting this thing. Now, I've done a couple test spots. I'd like to go ahead, because there is some trash still, and wet sand this thing a little bit, but the paint is way too thin. If I sand it, I'm leave with scuffs. If I cut it, I'm leave with just a little bit of trash, burned into the paint, and some speckles just because of the age of that paint. But it's so thin that if I try to wet sand it, there's not gonna be much less. So the thing we're gonna have to do is just cut it, and we'll have to just cut it down to a good point where we feel it looks really nice, and then we get some protective layers on that paint to keep it looking really nice. And you can see after just one spot, it's not super caked up or anything, but that was an orange pad, and she's soaking it in. So we've got our 3M 36060 compound. 3 little dabs, and I splatter down there. Pad conditioner. This is the torque hub and fluid thing. I'm going to start on a 1. Oh my, I sprayed it all over the place. And I put our tape here so we can kind of get an idea of the difference. So first we'll just kind of dab it. Obviously want to work small spots anyways. I'm not going to, we'll see. I'm going to kick it up to about 35, and I am not putting a ton of pressure, basically just the weight of my hand on here. Can you tell a difference at all? Any? Now if you look, it's not the greatest, but if you can see, I'm almost burning through there, and all our edges, we're almost burnt through, and we're continuing to burn through. And I just don't want to push it any more than that. As soon as we start wet sanding it, the paint's so thin that it's actually just scuffing and kind of scratching it. It's got a really nice finish, but it is not, I'm just worried it's gonna destroy it. And that's the last thing we want to do. So I think this is gonna have to be what it's gonna be. Like I said, it looks really nice, especially compared to what it was before. Not perfect by any means, but wow, what a transformation. It's a pretty color too. Alright, so I tried a little something else to see if we can't keep from baking more of that crap into the paint. Now what I did is, obviously we did as good of a cleanup job as we possibly could. We still have just a little bit of trash on the surface here. So you feel a little bit of roughness. Now what I ended up doing, instead of using a nice smooth cloth, is I used this shop rag. Now this is a lot more abrasive, but it's a lot better than having to wet sand or take a Brillo pad or something to it. And it gives us a fairly smooth surface, and I think I should probably work on that just a little bit more. But I think for the most part, this is gonna make a big difference in the final turnout of what we're doing here. Just work this small spot here. Much better. Much better. Alright, so I went ahead, gave the car another really good wash to get the rest of the junk off of the paint, picked up some more masking tape, got it taped off, and now it's time to get the rest of this car compounded. All right, now at this point we have the entire car completely cut. We have a nice smooth surface, but we want to be able to finish that off. Now thankfully, because we didn't go crazy with wet sanding or anything, we don't have any swirl marks or scuff marks or anything. We have a fairly nice smooth surface, but we want to be able to keep that shine. And so what I've got here is the Mother's California Gold Brazilian Carnauba Cleaner Wax. This is the fancy stuff in the little can. Take and put it on your little pad and you work it in. But this is going to give me the ability to get it everywhere I need to on the car without making a huge mess or anything. This is going to give us a nice protective surface to keep that shine going on from now on, as long as we take care of it. You know what time it is. Wax on, wax off. And I will be finishing it off with one of these crazy microfiber fancy cloth thingies. Now the nice thing with wax versus compound, you know, compound you want to try to get it off there pretty quickly. Oh. Wax, you can let it dry up, and that's actually what you want to do. Oh yeah, that's always the best feeling. Peeling back that tape at the end, realizing how much rubber and plastic trim you have to clean up now. I think it was worth it. Alright, so you're probably going to think I'm silly for using this, but for some reason it works. So I got some Hot Shine tire spray and it cleans this stuff off, and obviously, like tires, leaves it nice and shiny. This is probably not what you should use. Alright, now it's time to finally get all the letters and stickers off of the car. Sorry, Fred. Now honestly, I feel like because it says Fred's car okay to sale, that... So I had a situation before where I bought a bunch of cars that were going to go to the scrapyard. They were a friend of mine's dad, and he had them stored at a tow yard. And when he passed away, it was time to junk them all. So that's what I'm guessing went on with this, is whoever the children were decided that they didn't want to deal with the car, or family member or something, and just hauled them all off the scrapyard and got a few bucks out of them. Now, something that I'm going to do real quick that always makes a huge difference in the appearance of a car is go ahead and clean up these wiper arms. I've just got some Scotch-Brite here. We've got some trim coat from Crest Industries. We'll scuff these things up, we'll get it sprayed on there, and then we can get some new wipers on it as well. Just quick and easy, but my goodness, does it make a huge difference. And there you have it. It is crazy how much of a difference something so subtle makes. Alright, and one last thing while I had that black trim paint out, just to tie in this whole engine bay, is to hit that piece there that had just a little bit of surface rust. Boom, look at that difference. Really just ties in this whole car as a full external detail. I don't know about y'all, but I am absolutely worn out. But I am incredibly pleased with the outcome. This just goes to show a car that was destined for the scrapper, that we were able to save actually from the scrapyard, bring it home, get it running, bring it back to life, and do a full detail on and revival. Now this is obviously just the start on this car. We still have the full interior to do. We have some other things that we're wanting to knock out. I know some of y'all complained about the goofy Eurospec bumpers, and I don't like them either, so I want to do a bumper tuck on this car. I may want to do some different things with the wheels possibly, and a few other things that I still would like to do with this car to really tie it all the way through. If y'all enjoyed that and want to see more of stuff like this, more rescues, will it runs, revivals, detailing jobs, be sure to hit the subscribe button, notification bell, hit that like button, go down in the comment section and let me know that y'all enjoy this. That will wrap it up for this episode. We got a lot more coming and a lot more with our Porsche rebuild. Peace out and catch y'all on the flip side.